This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted once again to be joined by Roy Jones Jr. Roy, exciting ceremonial weigh-in yesterday. The fans got behind the event. What do you make of yesterday's events?
It was a very good event. Glad to see the fans could get behind it because fans enjoy boxing. This is what makes boxing. I mean, of course, there are going to be fights that fans are not necessarily on your side, but they love boxing. So if they're supporting anybody, they're supporting the sport, and that's what the sport needs.
When you look at yesterday, obviously the reception that Liam got in comparison to Chris, there was a little bit of delay with Chris's walkout to come out. Do you know what the reasoning was behind that?
No, I don't know what the reason was behind it. I don't think it was no particular reason. It just happened that way.
Because we see it a lot in boxing where, especially in ring walks, where they're like, we'll make him wait, especially if it's in his crowd. And I thought Chris, if that's what he was doing, played that really well yesterday. Do you think that sort of plays a part in the build-up a little bit?
It plays a part because all the little mental games that you can play, they all add up. So yes, it plays a part, but you know, who knows?
Chris yesterday, very calm, very cool, looks in incredible condition. Do you think this could be a fight where he puts on a spectacular performance here tonight?
Yes, it definitely could be. Yes, definitely could be because Chris has so many things he can do, and he has so many different ways that he can win the fight. Just decides which way he decides to do it. Whichever way he decides to do it was going to determine the outcome.
A lot of the fans, they always say that, you know, we see Chris Eubank a certain style. Do you think we're still yet to see the best of him in a fight, and that there's certain tools that maybe you see behind closed doors that you can unlock, and that we're yet to see when the lights are on?
Yes, there are several different things about Chris that you guys are yet to see when the lights come on. So it's just a matter of time. And like I said, I don't know for a fact because of Liam's style that it will happen tonight because, truthfully speaking, like I tell people, in my opinion, Chris's old style is better suited for this fight because Liam is a come-forward type guy. Chris' old style was a come-forward type guy too, so that's the better way to win this fight, in my opinion. So,
if Liam does walk forward, and as it comes for Chris, you would have thought, like the old Chris Eubank Jr., the one that everyone saw coming up, you would think that would play into his hands, especially with the amount of uppercuts he throws. To me, when you look at it from the outside, you think, Liam tonight might have to stay on the outside of it to avoid that. But in your opinion, if Liam tries to meet fire with fire, he'll come unstuck. Do you believe that?
Of course he will, and it'll be crazy because that's Chris' best game. That's what Chris knows best.
Yep.
So you want to make Chris box because that's something Chris is new at, and that would be smarter for Liam because now Chris gets opportunity to show us what he's been learning. Yep. But if you come straight at Chris, you're going to make Chris go back to the old Chris, and that's not what you want.
Absolutely not. Now, Chris has obviously talked about wanting to become world champion and he wants the big fights only. So we don't look past Liam Williams because no pushover, extremely good fighter, and there's a lot on the line for both here tonight. But if Chris does get past him, that unlocks the door to your Marathas, your Triple Gs, a potential rematch with Billy Joe Saunders, which even though there's no belt on the line for that fight, that would be huge. Like I said, the build-up for that would be massive. It would be great alone. Would you like to see Chris go for a belt next, just so he can say, you know what, I've been world champion? What's your opinion?
He's been world champion already anyway, but yes, I would definitely like to see him go for a belt next if we get the opportunity. However, if we don't get the opportunity, we always got Billy Joe Saunders laying in the cut, who also always wants to fight because he still thinks he can beat Chris. And, it's like there are several things Chris can do, but right now we're not really worried about any of that because what we have to do right now is Liam Williams. And we're not going to disrespect Liam Williams or disrespect nobody by looking past Liam Williams. Liam Williams is the job at hand. That's the task right now. That's what we're focused on.
Yeah, Liam Williams is the task at hand, and that happens tonight. When you're looking around at the sport of boxing right now, we talk about who's the number one in the world. There's a lot, like people say Terence Crawford, people say Canelo. In your opinion, someone who's sat at the top of that throne, who right now for you in boxing is pound for pound number one, and why?
With the way people judge it, you have to go with Canelo first, Terence Crawford second, and Lomachenko third. The way I judge it still though, it's like, it's hard because to me, Terence and Loma probably have a little bit better skill game because they're lighter, and the lighter guys usually have a better skill game. So Loma probably got the best skill game, Terence will be right behind him, then Canelo in my opinion. It's my humble opinion. Yeah. Because that I go off pound skill because I've been there. I don't go off for the popular guy, but when you go off to who's beating who, Canelo definitely gonna win that right off top.
Yeah.
And if Crawford can get Earl Spence, then he catapult back to number one.
Yeah.
Because the only reason he ain't number one now, because the Earl Spence fight hasn't happened. Yeah. Because he's been dominating a lot too. He's been beating everybody put in front of him. So it's hard to say, but in my opinion, skill for skill, Loma is the best. But when you go who they fighting lately, you got to give it to Canelo. Skill for skill, Crawford will be right there close to Loma. And to me, who they fought, Crawford would be second because he fought more opposition than Loma. Third would be skill for skill, be Canelo, but third or he would be Loma because he lost to Lopez and whatever. So.
Absolutely. When you look at some of them big matches, I mean, everyone's crying out to see Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and it's one of these where casual fans and don't understand when they look at the hardcore game, the political side of boxing, and it's an absolute nightmare because we want to see that fight. It happened with Mayweather Pacquiao for years. We wait. Luckily enough, we finally got it, but a few years earlier, it may have been better. So, if Terence Crawford right now takes on Errol Spence, in your opinion, how do you see that fight playing out? It's one we want to see, but from your point of view?
It's a very tough fight. The edge, of course, in my opinion, right now goes to Terence. But that don't mean he's going to win the fight, but the edge do go to Terence because I've seen him do more. I've seen him box more. I've seen him against different opposition that was a little bit higher quality than what I've seen Spence against. And Spence always beats his guys in one way. He just presses forward. Terence has done it in several different ways. So I know Terence has other tools in his box. I have to see if Earl does. I'm not saying he doesn't, we just haven't seen it yet.
When we talk about the best finishers in boxing, when someone's hurt, at the minute, Terence Crawford looks like he's that guy. Whenever someone's hurt, that's it. You almost see that in some fighters you can see a flurry of punches, and he just seems to know as soon as they're hurt, you can almost tell it's like an inevitability. This is game over. Is he for you now like the one to watch when someone's hurt? That's it.
Best finisher in the game.
Yeah.
Right now, yes.
So when you look at the other pound for pound, we mentioned Canelo. When you look back at your career, would you love to have fought someone like Canelo? You must have been asked a million times. And how would you approach fighting him? Because he's been beat by one guy, and that's it. And there's no shame in that.
One guy was a boxer, and I was a boxer, so there it is.
Yeah. So you'd try and outbox him.
That's what I mean. That's obviously his weakness. The only way he lost was being outboxed. So why would you go out on war with him when you know boxing's the way he got beat? He haven't lost to a fight where he had to go to war at yet. Mm-hmm. So why would you give him what he wants? You give him what he don't want. You go boxing.
So, Roy, thanks for talking to Into Boxing. You give me some of your time this week. I appreciate talking to you every chance I get. And yeah, might catch up after the fight with the post-fight and see what happens. Okay.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.